Folks, I think we'll call the regular order of the Park Board at 6 o'clock p.m. on September 16th, 2024. At this time, I'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I assume everyone had time to look over the minutes from the August 19th, 2024 meeting. At this time, I make a motion to approve those minutes. We have a second by Patty. Any discussion or changes that need to be made to the minutes? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye. 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 Opposed? Motion is approved. Present communications, the only thing I have is I had the opportunity on Friday night to spend some time at Fall Fest in our tent there at the Parks and Rec tent. And first off, thank everyone who worked that, but it was really interesting to engage with our citizens and the working boards, which I assume we'll talk about later this meeting. But it was really good to hear some comments from them. It was amazing to me that some people didn't realize some of the amenities that we already offer, and I even had a couple people that didn't know we had Country View Park. So that was kind of enlightening, but it was a great time. A lot of people were down there. I think they had a very successful fall festival. We have no personal appearances tonight. Councilman liaison report will not happen because Alex is absent. City manager report, I heard that Joe is not going to make that, so we're actually going to go directly into director's report and Brian Wellborn.
I'll just piggyback off a little bit what Terry said. Friday night, I would estimate we had 250 to 300 people through our booth. And one of the things that was enlightening to me is how many people knew about the Dryden project and how many people were really excited about the project. And so you have I gave you all separate from the packet, it is a dot map. So the dot map was produced by folks from Confluence who's doing our master plan. And it's 3 separate sheets. And the red dots are the things that the residents placed on the boards. There's 3 separate boards. The red things are the things that didn't really appeal to them, things that they didn't feel like they would either use or things that they didn't feel like were important to them. The green dots were things that were attractive to them, things that they felt like we needed to add to our infrastructure, things that perhaps we need more of. So a lot of participation. I know Kevin and Vanda worked Saturday and they had a tremendous turnout. We had the mascot out, and it was really good to visit with our folks, and there's a lot of excitement about our parks. So I know there was, with the huge participation, the things that were on each of the park amenities are listed at the below, and some of them are covered up with the dots. So after the meetings, if you can't make it out, I'll holler at me and I'll point them out to you. Any questions on that? The Cleveland Lake project is moving along. We have decided to do a design build, and we're waiting to hear back from Heron Construction, who is an on-call contractor for the city. The boring samples have been done. I believe the surveying is to happen this week. And so we do have progress pending weather and availability of construction items. I would anticipate this restroom being up and running by the end of the year. So they've got some work to do, but they've also got room to fit us in. And so the park master plan is moving right along. There's a lot of data being collected right now. The survey has closed. One of the staff members mentioned today that they thought they have received well over 500 surveys. And so, and with, separate from the packet, this came up in conversation Friday night with Terry, And I apologize, this one's on me. I don't think I ever gave you all a list of the steering committee and the stakeholders who are participating in our master plan, which is something that Confluence asks for community engagement. So there are lists, you have those in front of you that were separate from the packet. So I do apologize. When Terry mentioned that I don't think I've seen this, went back and I just don't think I ever communicated that, so.
You don't have to be a Belton resident to be on this committee.
Technically, no.
Okay, that was the question that was asked me.
I saw 3 people that don't live in Belton anymore, and I'm like,
noticed that as well.
So,
trying to figure out why Belton people aren't the only people on this committee.
Right.
Well, one of the reasons, I know one for a fact, I'll mention Stephanie Davidson, that was brought up to me as well. And she is running BCPI, even though she's not a resident here.
I don't know what that really means.
You don't know what BCPI is?
I know what BCPI
Okay.
is, but they put on a pageant. I don't know what being on BCPI has anything to do with being a resident.
She's also with the Downtown Merchants as well.
Again, I don't understand what that means. If you're not a resident, you shouldn't be on any of our boards or own a business in our community. If you're a taxpayer, I get it, but if you're not a taxpayer, you shouldn't be on it. I mean, I like Sandy Clutter, but she don't live in my community either.
Well, Ryan Finn doesn't
Ryan Finn doesn't either, so I mean, and Ryan's a friend of mine.
so,
I would tell you the same thing about Ryan.
so our position was, because we asked that question to Confluence, do they need to be a resident? Because we had some of these names in mind. And for instance, with the DBMS and the BCPI, we have working relationships with them, huge supporters of the park. We've co-opted a brand new event, our largest event now in Cary Nation Days. Ryan Finn is the president of the Belton Chamber of Commerce right now. I understand that that's a rotating position, but that's the thought process on Ryan, and Sandy Clutter is on our foundation. And so just some background as to why, when we met, Kevin Vanda and I met to create these, Belton Foundation. We have a foundation. It's a nonprofit. It's not under our umbrella, but it is a nonprofit. Friends of Belton Parks?
No.
Yep. That was started by Kevin Murphy several years ago. I think it was already in place when I got here 6 years ago. The biggest thing that we've done under that since I've been here is we had was that a gala to raise funds for the cabin, the Tribby Sloan cabin. And so there's money sitting in there. The benefit to that foundation is there's grant programs that we cannot write and we cannot go after and apply for as a municipality versus a 501(c)(3). So,
I understand it, and I don't have an opinion one. No, okay. I don't have an opinion one way or the other as far as these people personally, but it had just been brought to my attention that we had some non-residents on this, and was that okay?
I'll just say this, I mean, it's too late to change any of this. I don't even know when that started, to tell you the truth, but I just think in the future, anytime we as a park board set up this kind of stuff, I think it should be residents of our community that pays taxes here. You can't be on this board without being a resident of our community, so I would think any other board that is underneath us should have some type of residential requirements or business owner or work for the city, like Mr. Inky and Jenna does, but I mean, I think there's gotta be ownership in this.
duly noted.
I agree with Dave.
Okay.
Brian, you have anything else?
I mean, I know you guys are reading these reports over the weekend. I did email out my annual evaluation, so it should be fillable. You should be able to fill that out and then do a save as. And then you could email that back, or if you want to just fill it out, print it, and bring it to October's meeting and get that to Dave, who's the chairman of our personnel committee. That's it.
Any other questions or comments for Brian?
Oh, I did get it, sorry.
Thank you, Brian. In our packet, you'll see reports from all the department heads. First one is aquatics. Any questions on that or comments? Hearing none. Next is High Blue. Any comments or questions with that? Next is marketing. The only question I have on that one, and Van, if you could verify this, well, I'm just curious on the $94,000 grant, how much is our portion of that? Do you know?
We decided it's a 60-40 split, so, but we can do, labor can be our contribution as well.
Got you.
And I did want to point out, just so you know, we have a mom prom coming up in October, and the proceeds to that, we're excited about it, the proceeds will go to the American Cancer Society in honor of Kirsten, and that was at Clayton's request. That was what he wanted the monies to go to, so.
Great, thank you for mentioning that as well.
Oh, and the foundation sign, you should see work being started this week, and we're expecting the new marquee sign to be in place within a couple of weeks, I think.
Excellent. Any other questions on marketing?
I have, I guess, a comment. How'd Doggy Dip Day? My dog didn't get to come for the first time ever, so.
Yes, we missed the dog. I think we had about 80 dogs out there. It was a little chilly, but it was a beautiful day.
They don't care. They just enjoy that. And one of the other things that's not mentioned here, so some of you here, we're having a senior prom on October 11th. So if you'd like to come, we're going to have I think it's going to be a baked potato bar at Texas Roadhouse is going to sponsor, so free to the public 55 and older, so.
Good deal.
I know it's on there, but I just want to make sure we mention it so
And
people
that-
out there can see it.
Yeah, and that was one of the things I was gonna mention. I like seeing all this ahead of time and knowing, but sometimes we need to, especially if we're being recorded now, we need to have some of this stuff advertised in our meetings so people know that what we're talking about or there's things going on.
Duly noted, and I think that's why Dave and myself have brought things up, so that's
Yeah,
great.
good.
Good.
Just a quick comment on the mom prom, because I was in conversation this weekend. We read the tagline mom prom and we interpret it because, reading is a skill and we didn't read the whole thing, that it was similar to the father-daughter thing, so it was like a mommy and me kind of event instead of an adult only. I don't know what
Well,
my
we
suggestion for
tried.
that is, but
Well, I know that in our Facebook posts and those and emails and stuff, we've tried to explain it's not just for moms, and we explain it's a ladies' night out essentially. So we're trying to define it.
yeah, and maybe that would be like ladies' night out mom prom. Like flip it there. That would just be my suggestion, because it wasn't just me, although transparency, I didn't read the full thing, but there were others like, oh, yeah, okay.
Any other questions or comments on marketing? Next is parks and facilities. Quite a few things underneath that. Any questions or comments on the park facilities?
Candidates for open positions. You wanna mention that, Nick?
Yes, we have one, the facilities project manager has accepted the job offer. The High Blue maintenance tech, we're hoping to make an offer soon.
And when does the first one start?
I believe it was the 23rd.
23rd. Any questions or comments for parks and facilities? Next is recreation. Any comments? Go ahead.
I'm going to definitely comment and thank the staff for Rock the Lake disc golf tournament we had at Cleveland Lake on Saturday morning. It was a big event, 300 people. I mean, I was there just to volunteer to help, but I'm always at the park doing what I want, or doing what we do. But these guys did a really good job setting up, cleaning up the course. Everybody's commented how great the course looked. You know, like I said, that course, we draw people from all over the city, you know, coming over, spending their money. I was on my one wheel, selling raffle tickets and literally sold $500 in about 30 minutes in raffle tickets for the various prizes they gave out. So a lot of people contributing to the park, to the event. So yeah, it was a good time, and thanks again for the staff doing all the hard work.
Yeah, I would like to thank Derek for all his hard work that he puts into that as the tournament director and also the sponsorship coordinator. So he gets a lot of volunteers to come out and help us out. So with this one tournament, we bring in about $14,200 on this one tournament.
Wow.
So about 2,000 of that was just from concessions, but 12,000 was just from the tournament itself.
Well, I think this one was even bigger than last year. I actually called Brian on my way past. I was driving by there like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I couldn't at first figure out what was going on at Mill Creek, that their parking lot was full.
Yeah.
And I think they were parking over by the baseball fields. That's how packed that place was. But yeah, it was, I think last year they had like half of Mill Creek full. This time they had all of it full. I mean, it was crazy how many people were out there. I don't know how they all played golf at one time like that, but
Just
Well, like-
shotgun start. There's 27 holes.
well, we got 18 holes on a rail golf course, and can't have that many people at one time.
Well, it's the type of format, like a four-man scramble, and everybody just kind of flows together.
There's
Yeah,
27 holes out there?
There's enough when they mix between different tee positions and the baskets, and then extra yeah, so there was, yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah. Look, hey, I like it when people from outside of our area come to our community for stuff like this, so.
I know there was a team from Texas. I do know that.
Well, I think the city actually has a program now that they can track like cell phone usage out there to see actually where all the people are coming from and the different pings and all that. So that's always interesting data that they can come up with.
I think we're just waiting for that information.
Cool. Welcome to the neighborhood.
So this is a prized tournament, I'm assuming, if people are coming from Texas.
Well, so a lot of it
Give
is
out awards or prizes or something.
well, not really. I mean, they'll win they'll get their name on a guitar plaque, but really it's just like a players pack. They get a lot of stuff in the players pack, so that's really what brings them in. It's not so much you're winning a lot of money. This is kind of a fundraiser tournament for us, so and they know that. So all the money goes back into the course
Is that a
Raise.
sanctioned tournament?
by us.
Okay. Any other questions or comments for recreation? Thank you all. We'll move on to standing committee reports and finance with Jennifer.
Finance, we are, in revenues, we're about 3% over where we are budgeted. But the big story is our expenditures, we're about 22% down, which is then also reflected if we look at our report of cash balances. In our revenue funds, we have this 84% variance that is due to a transfer that's come over and our lack of spending on what was our anticipated budget. So those two things kind of combine together.
Any questions or comments?
I'll say just real quick, we'll have about 300,000 going out coming up in the next 30 days. The playground's gonna get paid for and also the sign. So that'll shrink that
Yeah.
22%.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Jennifer. We'll move on. Recreation did not meet. Building and grounds did not meet. Personnel did not meet, but they'll meet shortly after we get all the evaluations back from Brian's eval. Any unfinished business? New business, concrete contract extension.
Okay. You'll see in your packet the addendum to the contract to extend for 1 year. the original contract that we had for slab unit pricing for concrete. So you'll notice, Exhibit A just kind of shows you the difference in price, which comes up to technically 45 cents per square foot. And the reason there's so many lines here is because we have different options on whether we pay for concrete, whether the contractor pays for concrete, whether there's angles involved in forming it, whether we form it for them. So that's why there's different options and different prices. It's cheaper if we form it for them and they just come in and do the flat work. So sometimes if we have the ability to do that, we try to do that to save money. But sometimes we just don't have time to do it, so.
And usually don't you allow them to supply the
Yes, usually, because it's hard for us to actually get concrete. The contractor orders so much that he can get concrete, whereas we cannot most of the time.
I make a motion that we approve the concrete contract extension. Have a second. Any discussion or comments? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any announcements? Hearing none. What? I'm sorry, Mary, I didn't hear
Give
you.
me a second. I have this, we do it with Parks and Rec. We have a 5K coming up for Red Ribbon Week. I'll just pass it around. If anybody's interested in signing up, that would be amazing. You can walk or run. They give awards all the way up to different age categories, 60 to 69, 70 to 79, 80 plus, and that's years, not days. Okay, so. And it's gonna be at High Blue Wellness.
Any other announcements?
I actually do have something. So, November 2nd, there'll be a stream cleanup, over by Cleveland Lake. I believe it's like the East Fork Creek or something like that. So, I'll get more details as we get closer. November 2nd.
Do you ever reach out to the FFA kids at the Belton High School?
We
for
have
that?
in the past, yes.
Is that stream going to the east, or do you also go to the west of Cleveland Lake? I mean, there's gotta be a stream back there somewhere that's feeding into Cleveland Lake, right?
Right, but that's private property.
So we just go
We
to
don't
the
have the-
east?
Yeah, kind of down to Cambridge where the low water crossing is, and then maybe a little bit south of there. I'm not sure what the city owns there. I know they own that retention basin there, but
Does the city have an easement on that then? Cause I know
yeah,
that,
yeah.
one guy just built that house back there. That's what I
Yeah,
was
there's an
wondering.
easement
Okay.
that runs along that.
New FFA sponsor this year, new teacher, but have we ever checked with the science classes at the high school? Environmental science or any of those classes?
No, but I'll reach out.
Okay, I can do that if you'd like, but I'll let you,
If you just give me the contact, I can reach
I will
out.
do that.
Okay.
I'll make sure I give you the right ones.
All right.
Any other announcements or comments? Hearing none, I motion we adjourn at 6:25.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you all.